Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. This will be Computer Essentials class. So the contents, like I went through yesterday, we have lesson 1 will be going through computers and devices. Lesson 2 will be desktop icons and settings. Lesson 3 will be covering outputs. Lesson 4 will be file management, 5 networks, then 6 security and well-being. Okay, so with the computer essentials, it covers key skills and the concepts in relation to computers, ICT, devices, and software. So the first one will start with ICT. How many of you have heard of the term ICT? Just by show of hands or a reaction. How many of you have heard of the term ICT? What is ICT in full? Joyce Mwangi, yes, you've heard of ICT. Joyce, what is ICT in full? Joyce, you can unmute and then speak. Anyone else? What is
Information and communication technology.
Thank you, Joyce. ICT in full is information and communication technologies. So with in this lesson, the first lesson, you'll learn to define the term ICT. You'll identify different types of ICT services or users. You'll identify main types of hardware. You'll distinguish between main types of software. You'll be able to start up and shut down a computer. I'm sure Cherok, you said you have a laptop. Benjamin, you also have a laptop. Samuzade, do you have a laptop? Samuzade? Okay. So being that you have a laptop, I'm sure you know how to start up and shut down a computer, right? Benjamin, do you?
Yes, I have a laptop.
Yes, you have a laptop. So do you know how to start up and shut down a computer?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so back to ICT definition. So as we said, ICT stands for Information and Communication Technology. So ICT is the whole body of every other computer essentials, every other application, every system that is out there is under ICT. So ICT, it encompasses all digital tools that access, store, and process information that is into organized forms. So whatever interact with that can store or access or share information, that is a part of ICT system. So we also have ICT services. So ICT services, who can give me an example of ICT services that they know? Here we can say ICT services include internet services like online banking and shopping, mobile technology for anytime access. So who can give me an example? And office productivity applications. Who can give me an example of ICT services getting from that definition? Yes? Anyone? Any internet services or office productivity applications that you know? Am I audible? Can you guys hear me?
Ninakusikia.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So with the ICT services, as I've said, it includes internet services like online banking and shopping. Like these are shopping applications that you can use. I normally use Jumia or Kilimall. There's also Amazon. There's also that is in Kenya. There's also Amazon and others. Mobile technology. Mobile technology, there are so many. You know the meaning of a mobile? Like you have a mobile device, so it's something that's portable, something that you can use anywhere at any time. So and office productivity application. So in this ICDL class, we'll be learning about office productivity applications. The computer essential is just the overall knowledge of ICT and the devices and the hardware and all that, and the computer devices. But the other modules you learn are documents, presentation, and spreadsheets. Those are office productivity application. So they streamline work and learning across various industries. So being that ICT covers most things, it has global impact. So the global impact you can see, it has transformed communication, work, leisure worldwide. So it enables faster, more productive processes, reshaping daily life and business operations globally. So global impact of ICT, ICT technology, the technology changes every time. Nowadays you have AI, and AI continues being great and great and great every now and then. So with this, the global impact is that it has transformed communication. Like nowadays, you can communicate with anyone, anywhere, anytime. It's accessible to everyone. It doesn't limit any other people, provided you have the devices and access to internet. Nowadays, you can get every work done, even leisure. You can do. You can communicate with others and all that, so you can be productive.
All right, maybe to cut in, my name is Titus. I'm also an instructor from Codevertex, the ICDL course. Sorry, I wasn't able to speak when you're introducing people. I wasn't able to speak. Was on the road, but I think now I'm settled. So sorry to barge in like that. But I just want to say that I know most of you here are within the Weybridge setup, where maybe you handle computer a lot, and also maybe I know we have cops here, we have GS, we have cows, right? I don't know if any of you are here, but I want to say that you need to take this first module seriously. That is the computer essentials, because the others, I know you've interacted with PowerPoint at some point. You've interacted with Word, you've interacted with spreadsheets. The only thing we're doing here is that we're giving you more knowledge of now the updated, now maybe you knew an outdated formula of Excel back then, but because in this course targets office productivity, we're going to give you the updated ways of doing things. But importantly, I know you might not be a GA or a cow forever. You might be moved to the role of maybe being a cop, being a system admin or something like that. And you do know that with the ICDL, like you've seen in the computer essentials module, you learn about networks, you learn about computers, devices, and all that. And if you look at the role of system admin, even at your stations, mostly those are the things that they handle. What do they, you normally run to them with what? Network problems, or you run to them with maybe system problems, or maybe simple things. So it doesn't mean you're going to be a cop forever, or a GA, or maybe a cow forever. With ICDL, and if you take this computer essentials module seriously, you can move up within any role. You can become a cop from being a GA, you can become a cow, or you can become a system admin, so long as you have the ICDL certificate. So take these modules seriously, and you're seeing we're covering mostly the ICT skills that you need within a productivity office setup, like Shirley discussed before. Yeah, I think you just wanted to say that. Back to you, Shirley.
Okay, so we were at ICT services examples. Like I said, we have internet services, mobile technology, and office productivity. So with internet services, we have they enable online banking, shopping, email, and document sharing. So internet services provide platform for global communications and commerce. With commerce, nowadays most businesses are online as much as they may have physical locations that you can go to, but you can also have access them online. With mobile technology, it allows internet access via smartphones, tablets, to enable users to stay connected and productive on the go. So mobile technology, we have like the smartphones, we have the tablets, even the laptops are mobile technology and all that. So through accessing internet, you're able to stay connected and productive. Then we have hardware types. We have hardware types. So let's say the hardwares are physical parts of or the components of a computer. So I'm sure that the ones that you've interacted with, let's say it's a desktop, a laptop, like some of you said you have a laptop, mouse, monitor, system unit, speakers. I'm sure you've interacted a lot with hardware devices. So hardware are physical parts of a computer. So we have two. We have hardware and software. Software, we'll talk about it later. So with the laptops, these are portable computers that run on battery and main power, offering balance between performance and mobility. See, your laptops, you can go to them with them to work, or anywhere you want to go. Let's say if some of you have remote work, some people normally work remotely, so you can do that work anywhere, anytime. So laptops provide that mobility and portability and all that. So performance, it also performs well, so you can be productive. So we also have a desktop. So there's a difference between, the main difference between a laptop and a desktop is laptops are portable, but desktops are fixed. They're fixed at a location. So they're designed for maximum power and performance that is ideal for tasks requiring high computational resources. So laptops are portable, desktops are fixed location, but they more or less do the same work. But desktops are built for maximum power and performance. Another one, we have tablets. They feature touch screens and are designed for ultra portability. So you can use them for quick tasks and on-the-go use. And we also have smartphones. We have media players. We have digital cameras. We have desktops. Hardware, like I've said, hardware are physical parts of a computer. So So smartphones offer advanced features like operating systems, email, web browsing, and personal organization tools, making them versatile communication devices. So as much as you can, it's in small size, you can carry it anywhere or in any place. They have operating systems. Operating systems, we'll talk about that later. But operating systems in a smartphones are Android, Apple. Yeah, those are operating systems. And processors, we have processors. The processors execute instructions and determine the speed and performance of a device. So like the processor, like it's a CPU, central processing unit, that is a processor. And in a laptop, we have processors type, we have Intel, we have, there are a lot of processors out there. So we can also talk about
a quick one. Just a quick question. This is not for Shirley, but for you guys. Now, let's say an ICT manager, and you are the system admin, or maybe just an employee who happens to be around when I'm consulting for, maybe I'm consulting to buy new computers for the company. So maybe I want to buy new desktops, or maybe I want to buy new laptops for the staff. What are some of the key things to consider when you're buying a computer? Now, we've talked about computer systems, hardware. And in terms of hardware, we have input and output devices. I think Shirley has mentioned that at some point. So I'm interested in buying a laptop. I'm the ICT manager, but you happen to be there, you are car, or maybe you're corporate. I just walk into your office, I'm like, you need a new computer, so just give me the specs that you want. What are some of the things that you consider, whether you're going to buy a personal laptop or an office desktop? It doesn't matter, so long as it is a computer. What are some of the things that you normally consider? Or do you just say, I want a red laptop, or I want a black CPU or desktop? Benjamin, give me something.
Storage.
Mizadi. Yes. Yes, yes.
Storage.
Storage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you talk about storage these days, we have the old storage types, and we have the new storage types. And the new storage types come also into, we have, okay, I don't want to give you that, but when you talk about storage, there is the old one and there is the new one, the current one, which are considered fast and reliable. So storage, yes, that's okay. But what storage are you looking at? Which type?
The performance of the laptop.
We're talking about storage, Bado. I've said there are two types these days. They are the old hard disks, and they are the new hard disks these days.
So consider the new hard disk.
So the old hard disk, we call them HDDs. They use what we call a disk writer, something that normally it normally rotates to write data to your. It's more like have you ever seen a cassette disc? It's more like that. It has something like that that writes data to your hard drive. Now, what happens to a hard drive when you move a computer around? There is that the writer that writes data to that hard drive. When you move a computer around, normally, maybe the hard drive is also, it's also magnetic. So when you move the computer around, and maybe you're next to, when the magnetic field changes, when you move around, maybe there's a place where you're putting it, there's a lot of metal and all that. That affects the writer. Or when that computer maybe drops or you shake it, that affects the writer. So that is the old storage devices. So eventually you'll start hearing some funny noises coming from your computer or your laptop. And most of the time you'll see your screen scramble, or you see the blue screen of that blue screen of Windows. Just nothing is showing, it's blank, and giving you maybe some error code. Normally it's associated with the old storage devices or hard drives, what I've just said, HDD. And then we have SSD. Have you ever heard of SSD? Somebody who has heard of SSD before? I know you've heard of HDD because they were there before. But there is SSD. Somebody has heard of what is SSD in full? So I've just given you the answer. We have two types of storages. We have SSD and we have HDD. I've said HDD is the old school being replaced by SSD. So what is SSD? Somebody, if you've heard of SSD before, you don't have to know the full name, as long as you've heard of SSD before. Okay. So SSDs are solid state drive. If you've seen RAM, there's a picture of the scheme that is being presented right now. There's RAM. Maybe Shelley, you can point at that. That is the random access memory. You see how it looks? It is compact and solid. So it doesn't have moving parts like the HHD, moving parts that wear out with time. So it more looks like a RAM, and it is solid state. So these are the modern types of storages, which are fast, and the way they store data, it is easier to retrieve, and they make your computer faster. So if your computer has an SSD storage, then you're better off than somebody who has HDD. So I might be having a Core i5 with HDD, and somebody, or maybe let me say a Core i5 with SSD, and somebody has a Core i7, maybe 6th generation, and I have a Core i5 8th generation with SSD. I'm telling you, my Core i5 with far much faster than your Core i7. And you can't compare the two laptops. So the main reason why you are going through this computer essentials course is, even at personal level, it's not just to benefit you at work. If you're going to buy a laptop for your kid or for yourself or for your brother, you're able to know which kind of hardware am I looking for. Are you going for HDD? Are you going for SSD? In terms of generations of laptops, which generation am I going to get? I don't know whether we've discussed generation of computers here, but if you've discussed generations, you'll realize that anything 8th generation and above is better than anything 7th generation and above. If I have a 7th generation Core i7 and somebody has an 8th generation Core i5, their laptop is far much better than mine. So I think you'll get into details of history of computers and what the generation changes. All right, we're moving on. Somebody has said you're considering, so Muzeda, you're considering SSD, I mean storage. So some enlightenment on that. Now you know that you need to go for SSD. And in SSD, there are different types. There's the NVMe, and then there's just the SSD. So there's a difference between NVMe and just SSD like that. So that is for you to just go and do your research if you're interested in laptops. What is the difference? Why is NVMe SSD better? All right, the next one. What else do you consider when you want to buy a computer? Come on, this should be easy.
Operating
Benjamin.
system.
Joyce, operating system. Now, when we're talking about operating systems, we have the major players in the market. We have Windows, which everybody knows. And we are saying Windows because when you're using Windows right now, Shelley is presenting here and you're able to see a screen, a window that is showing you something. That is why we call this Windows operating. It operates in terms of opening windows. I can tell you open this window or open this whatever or open this screen. So you're able to see different windows when or using a Windows operating system. So that is why we call it that. And then there's command line based operating systems. Those are normally the Unix operating systems. And Unix operating systems, if you want to be the new Moabe, you guys know Moabe, you can use a Unix operating system like Kali Linux, majorly known for hacking. You can use Ubuntu, majorly known for hosting spaces. If you want to host your application, or you want to run, or maybe devs, if you want to become a developer, you want to write some code, you're going to use Ubuntu. It's good for that. It is light, and it doesn't have this thing we have with Windows, like, oh, renew your license. Killer time it is screaming, making updates, all that. You don't have that in Unix operating systems, especially in Ubuntu. So if you're using Ubuntu, if you're going to upgrade, you you'll need to just run a command to update your entire system. But you won't be having things like you have to renew license like you have with Windows and blah, 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 all that. So yes, operating system. So if you're considering becoming a developer, or do you want to do things to do with network testing, penetration testing, cybersecurity, and all that, you might go for installing a Unix operating system, either Kali Linux or Ubuntu, into your laptop. If you are more into office work and with Microsoft, they are more into office productivity, you could go for Windows. Next, what else do you consider when you want to buy a laptop? Oh, and of course, these days, Windows 10 was buried. The other time, we were at Windows 10 funeral just a week ago. I don't know whether you guys attended, but I was there. So right now, we have a new baby, that is Windows 11 and the different versions of Windows 11. So if you're going to buy a laptop, just know that Windows 10 is no longer supported. It is in the grave and buried. So if you have a Windows 10, you will not be receiving updates. So that means your laptop may be vulnerable to security threats. It has no present security updates that you're getting from Windows 11. So go for a Windows 11. If you're going to put Ubuntu in your laptop, go for Ubuntu 22 long-term support. It's something like LTS. All right. The next thing that you need to consider when you're buying a laptop or a computer, Benjamin, you need to give me something.
Price.
Price, yes. But now let's talk about performance features kwanza. Tarudi kwa price. Umefikiria mbali. Najua hii nini inatufinya kidogo, lakini tuachane na price kwanza. Pesa si shida, ndio. So long as you know what you want. Let me hear Jepkoech. Jepkoech, you're my guy, bwana. Give me something. I think I personally registered you into this course, so I remember you. Give me something. What do you consider when you want to buy a machine? I'm telling you, this is going to help you, even if you want to advise somebody to buy a laptop, or you are, you might be running a side hustle. You want to start a laptop, maybe computer shop or whatever. You'll know what to go for and advise your clients. It's not just for the, for work or whatever. It's for personal. You can do your business and blah blah. So as long as you understand what you're getting here is very important, even at your role in the Weybridge. Unaweza advice mkubwa, si ndio? Okay, so I think so Joyce Mwangi, nimesikia sauti yako. Benjamin amekataa kabisa. Sawa tu. Amesema hata type.
Excuse.
Cherop amesema hapana bwana, mimi sikujui. Ni sawa tu. So okay, so the next thing that you need to consider is processor. Somebody talked about processor, and you also need to consider RAM. So there is RAM, there is processor, and then there's something we call clock speed. And then the fourth thing you need to consider is the generation of the computer. Yes, Benjamin. Nikisha kupea answer ndo najifanya. Sasa sema.
Huyu Benjamin na Mzade ni mtu mmoja.
Really?
Eh.
Why is joining with? You're confusing us, brother.
Mzade na nimelog na simu na laptop pia zote kwa pamoja.
Hey bro. Hey, all right. That's okay. That's why I'm wondering why is Benjamin not. So somebody mwenye ameamua tu ataki kuniongelesha leo ni Cherop. Cherop, surely. Ataki kuniongelesha. Benjamin. Is it a legacy hand or you want to say something?
Nimetoka night shift. Sasa nilikuwa namaliza breakfast. Sorry.
Hey, surely. Unajiwekelea. Sisi tunangangana hapa kukuelimisha ujue kununua laptop mzuri. Hata uende uweke kaduka pale ya laptops, unajua unaambia kina mama nani, unamwambia hii ndio ununulie mtoto.
Nilikuwa najua hiyo ya RAM.
RAM.
Yes.
Yeah, so random access memory. So very important. So let's consider this. If I, oh, okay, normally when you're saving a new number, let's say that when you're saving a new number, you're young, when let's say we're comparing the ages at 18, you can look at a number and cram it once and save it. What about your grandmother at 60, 70? Akitaka kusave your number, what happens? Anaweza iangalia mara ngapi? Sema tu kweli. Ndo ashike asave. Anaweza iangalia mara ngapi? Mimi sahi ukinipea namba tu, hata Joyce ndiko ukinipea namba yako sahi, sisemi nataka namba yako. Lakini ukinipea namba yako sahi unisomee. Nitaishika, nitakuwa nimesave saa hizo. Lakini I know I know your grandmother back at home. Unamwambia ndio hiyo namba yangu, atakuuliza kama mara 5. So when it comes to computers, this is how RAM works. You know, with age, you tend to be your memory, the level of how you store things in your memory really quick. It reduces. It's like that space reduces with age. So you get a hard time remembering things. You get a hard time cramming things. The cramming power inarudi. Yani RAM iko chini. Lakini usiende mwambie hivyo, atakuuliza RAM ni nini. So that is the same thing with computers. If the RAM is substantial, that means it can take in, every time you open an application on your computer, whether it is Word, whether it is your browser, it is first loaded into the RAM kwanza. Then that is when it displays on your screen. So that is the entry point. Kila kitu umefungua, even when you are starting up your computer, the startup processes lazima zikuwe loaded on the computer RAM kwanza ndo zifunguke. So that's why unapata uko na RAM ya 4GB na mimi niko na RAM ya 8GB, my applications will load faster because it loads into the RAM first, and then that is when it displays. And when you're working with Excel files, you'll realize you need that RAM power or that RAM space. If your RAM is less, you load one Excel sheet which has maybe 1,000 records, it will hang, I'm telling you. So you need to have good RAM. Something from 8GB and above is substantial enough for day-to-day activities. And then now we have the thinking power, brains. So that is the CPU. So how powerful is your CPU? I'm already talking about these things. Now I'm talking about the next slides. So when you get to the next slides, mtapitia tu. So computing power, that is why we call it. Yes, Mwangi?
Can you say RAM and SSD are the same?
Okay, when you're talking about RAM, there are different generations of different types of RAMs, but RAM and SSD are different. RAM is the random access memory. SSD belongs to ROM. And what is ROM in full? Shally? Okoa hawa watu.
Read-only memory.
Takasirika hapa wataamini.
Read-only memory.
Read-only memory. Umesikia? It is a read-only memory, ROM. So when you're talking about storage, you're talking about ROM. Mimi itakuja nikuulize, you know, in my IT profession, we tend to speak in IT terms. And that is why they introduced a new law of cybercrime, because lawyers were not understanding IT people when they, after committing a crime, unapelekwa court, and they don't understand what you're saying. So they introduced that, so lawyers are also upgraded in terms of IT and all that. So I'll come to you, Joyce, and say, I'm getting a laptop with a RAM of 8GB and ROM of 256GB SSD NVMe. And you're like, ROM? What are you saying? What you're used to is memory and storage. Sindio? Si hivyo ndo venye mnasema, simu iko na storage gapi? Na memory? Ama nadanganya? Joyce, see, that is what you're used to.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that is what you're used to. You'll say, when I say RAM, umepotea. When I say ROM, umepotea. So RAM, that is the storage. RAM, that is the memory. So get it clear. So when you're saying SSD, it is a type of ROM. When you're saying RAM, It is the computer memory where
Okay,
applications
thank
are
you.
loaded first before they can be written or read from the read-only memory, that is the storage. So that's why when you are loading a file in Word, if you don't save it, you might lose it. So you have to save it to the read-only memory, the ROM. That is why you have that storage. The RAM is for temporary, for when you are editing it. It is loaded into the RAM. When you save it, it is now moving from the RAM to the ROM. And it is here in the RAM that we said we have better options these days, SSDs. We are moving from HDDs. Okay, we were talking about computing power, right? So computing power, and we also have clock speed. So computing power, that is when you talk about processors, that is now where you bring in Core i5, Core i7, Core i3, Celeron, and we have, these days they have Pentium. There's still Pentium, there's Celeron, there's Core i3, there's Core i5, there's Core i7, there's Core i9, that is the latest. So this is how they are arranged. If you're using a laptop which has a Pentium processor, that means, or a Core i2, what we normally call dual core. So let me start from dual core, because I think mostly we have dual core desktops and all that. You want to buy a desktop, so the processor, consider the processor. Dual core is at the lowest level. It has only 2 processor chips. And then we move to Celeron, slightly above dual core and below Core i3. So it has some enhanced features above dual core, but it is also below a Core i3. So the way these things are arranged is the number of chips that the processor has. So you find that a dual core has maybe 2, and then Celeron may be having 2, but with also enhanced features. And then we have a Core i3, which might have 2 with the enhanced features, or maybe 4. If you go to a Core i5, it has 4 and above, but it depends on the generation. If your generation falls below 8th gen, if it is a Core i5, it has 4 computer chips. And these chips work together to make sure that you have the power that you need. But if you have an 8th generation and above, even if it is a Core i5, you might have up to 8 chips and above. So that is why 8th generation computers are better than anything below 8th gen. And then we have Core i7s, which are, now have more computing power. And if you are getting something that is a more or above 8th gen, or 8th gen and above, then you are going to get the you are going to enjoy the 8 chips and above for your processor. So that is more computing power and more speed. And then we have Core i9. Basically, you have like 12 chips and above, 10, 12 chips and above, and those ones are the beasts. They're like almost like supercomputers. They are really fast. There's this one called it's called Lenovo Legion, or Lenovo 9i, or Lenovo 7i. Normally it comes in terms of Core i9, or if it is a Core i7, but it is enhanced. And then we have the Ryzen, HP Ryzen. These ones for gaming. There's also Core i9, I think, that I've seen. And then there's also MacBook, that is Apple. They also have Core i9s. And then we have clock speed. Now, when you're talking about clock speed, you can talk about clock speed if it is 8th gen per chip, or clock speed overall. So overall you'll find something like you have a speed of 2.4 gigahertz, GHz, something like that. Or you have 2.3 or 2.1. So anything that is 1.9 gigahertz in terms of speed and above is just good for day-to-day activities or office productivity. Yes, so I've given you the cheat sheet. Feel free anytime to advise your bosses when they want to buy a computer or a laptop. Back to you, Shirley.
Okay. So with hardware, we have input. Hardware types, we have input devices, we have output devices, we have pointing devices. So when you're typing, let's say, we said the examples of our hardware are, let's say, a mouse. A mouse, you click on it when you're using the laptop or the desktop or the computer itself. So a mouse is under. Who can give me a try? A mouse is under which category? We have input devices. Input devices are used to input data, input data into the computer. Output devices are what computers use. The device uses to show you the output of the data that has already been processed. So who can give me an example of an input device? Yes, Anisha? Okay, an input device we have yes. An input device example, we have a keyboard. A keyboard is you type on you type through it, and then it feeds the computer with data. Yes, Joyce, do you have give me another example of an input device? Joyce, your hand is raised. Benjamin, another example of an input device. Benjamin, your hand is raised.
A mouse.
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 Yeah.
Yes, mouse can be input, and it also can fall under pointing devices. You use it to point to whatever you want to do, any instructions or anything you want to do in the computer itself. Another example of an input device. Yes, mouse is an input device. Another example.
A scanner, the one that is used in the supermarket.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, a scanner is also an input device. Yeah, that's no choice. Another one. Which categories are digital cameras? Are they input or output? A camera, are they input or output?
Input.
Input. Okay, examples of output devices. Can give you an example of an output device that is under hardware.
Flash disk.
Flash disk. Flash disk is a storage device. It's used for storage.
Printer.
Printer, yes, printer is an output device. That's good. Another example. We have monitor. When you're using the
Nilikuwa
mouse.
nashangaa mtu aoni monitor yake na anaangalia saa hii kuona.
Yeah. We have the monitor. It's an output device. We have the monitor. It displays information. Let's say you are typing, or so when you're typing, you are inputting data, and then the monitor displays to you whatever you're typing. So that's an output device. Another example, Joyce? Joyce, your hand is raised. Benjamin?
Speaker.
Yeah, speaker is an output device. Thank you. Also under input, we have microphone. Microphone is an input device. And then you use the microphone to speak, and then the speaker outputs whatever you're saying. Sindio? Yes.
Yes, and funny thing, hii ndio cheat sheet ya exam. Vitu kama hizi nilishaona mtu alibant hapa. Hapo kwa Flash. You know, the exam is not going to be that something new or tough. Hivyo tu challenging. Differentiate between the two, which one is an output or input device, or they'll do something like IO or whatever, input output, and then you're like, Flash nimepata wapi, you see input one. So this is like a cheat sheet for exams. Just put it at the back of your mind. Si unataka kupita exam pia, as much as you want to use this for personal, growth and all that. Sindio?
Okay, any other example you want to give of input or an output? Okay, then let's go. Benjamin?
Screens.
Benjamin? Yes?
Screen.
Screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, touch screen. Yeah, on a laptop is a monitor, and then kwa simu, smartphones ni touch screens, ndio?
Yeah.
Yes, that's an output device. Okay, so we've talked about the types of the hardware. We've talked about Titus has also given us an overview of the generations of the computers. So I'd like us to talk about the storage. He also mentioned storage when he was talking about what the things to consider when buying a computer or a laptop. So he talked about the processor, that is the CPU, the RAM, and storage. So the CPU is like the brain of the computer. It's the main processor of the computer. That's why I was giving an example of an Intel Pentium, Intel. Every computer, every generation have its own a CPU. So like as much as the AI is they're going forward, even the processor getting better and better. So we also have the random access memory. That's also storage. I showed you here. Let's see this. We are shown here. This is how random access memory looks like. This can you see where my mouse clicks? Can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Yes. So that's an example of a RAM. And this right the right image is how it looks like on the laptop or on the desktop or on the system in the system unit. That's how it looks like. That's how in a core mountain there. And this is even in the system. If any one of you ever finds ever opens a computer, even the system unit, you'll find somewhere in there a motherboard there is Intel or the CPU. There is the CPU there. So it's the brain of the computer, but it's always very tiny. If you find time or if you ever find an open computer, you can just look for yourself. Okay, so we have RAM. It's the place where the computer keeps software and information that is currently using or working on. Like Titus said, when you're typing something, it has temporary storage location. When you're typing something, it is being stored in RAM. So when but when the computer is switched off, the data is lost. So that's why you're always being told, even when you're doing documents, I'll tell you, when you're typing, ensure like you save your document as much as possible. You type and then you save. You don't wait for you to finish the whole document so that you save, because what if you're using a desktop and then the power goes off? It will go because you are storing that data in RAM. So if you save, it is being stored in RAM, just like you've been told earlier. Okay, with storage, a computer storage device is a type of hardware that stores data. So it is used for storing data. So like an example you gave earlier, flash disk is used to store data. Hard drive, hard disk, you are told about hard drive, hard disk. Hard drive and hard disk, we have SDD, that is SDD na HHD, those are storage devices. So the computer main hard drive stores the operating systems, applications, and file and folders associated with the users of the computer. So let's say even in your smartphones, you have a hard disk there, though it is inbuilt. Those earlier phones, the hard disk ilikuwa ile no. Yeah, those earlier phones had different hard disks. Nowadays, they're newer, they're better. So yeah. That is an example of a storage device. So it's used to store data. You can even in the laptops, the hard drives. So there are external hard drives and also the internal ones. So they store they store the operating systems, applications, and files and folders. In the PC, for hard drive, the hard drive, there's hard drive partition. You can partition it to have like a in PC, like even mine, you have local DC and local DC. So local DC is I mainly use it for application, and it also stores the operating system and all the files and folders associated with the users, and also local DC. So you can partition it. You can partition your disk, hard disk, so that it has more. You can partition the storage, so you can store different things in different storage units. So we have the flash memory devices, that is the USB drives, flash disks themselves. So the popular ways to store data in small mobile format. Hard disk, the external hard disk can be, the external hard disk can be, it's mobile, you can carry it, but the internal one, it's stuck in the device itself. So there's also memory cards. That's frequently used to store images taken by digital cameras. You see, digital cameras the digital cameras are the input devices, and then we have storage devices, that is the image, the memory. So once someone takes a picture, the picture is stored in a memory. So that is a storage device. So we have external hard drives that connect via a cable. A flash disk connect. It's an external storage device, because it connects, you can connect it externally to the laptop, so that you can share, you can copy to or move the files that you have. And then we have internal hard drive. So with the storage, we have internal storage and external storage. Internal storage, you can speak of RAM, you can speak of hard disk, and then external, you can speak of this flash disk, USB, and all that. And then we have still under hardware, we have integrated and external equipment. We've talked about some of them, like printers. So printers are used to print documents. Have anyone here ever used a printer before? Just by show of hands. Have you ever printed anything yourself? Benjamin, yes. You can unmute and then you tell us about your experience. Tyrone has also printed something. Benjamin? Benjamin, Tyrone have printed. So a printer, so that means you've interacted with the printer. Some of us have seen a printer and some of us have interacted with the printer before. So you can print documents and then share it. So with the printers, we have inkjet printers and laser printers. So laser printers is used in offices with large volumes of printing necessary. So and it uses the same system as a photocopier. So an inkjet printer is most commonly used printer in the home. It makes use of cartridges filled with ink. Have you ever seen those printers with ink cartridges? Benjamin, which one did you use? Laser or inkjet? Yes,
Oh.
Benjamin?
The one with the ink.
The one with ink?
Yeah.
Yes, that is an inkjet printer. What about you, Benjamin? Not Benjamin, Tyrone?
When you're talking about
Which one did you
printers,
use?
what is a toner? Niko tu hapa, niko na maswali kali, deadly. Moja. What is a toner when you're talking about printers?
Toner, I think is the color, ile color yenye ina print nayo.
Mwalimu akapa anasikia. What is a toner?
Nasema toner ni ile color yenye inatumika kuprint. Am I right? Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Benjamin. Hello. Are you a system admin bwana? Vitu zingine, I mean, okay, that's fine. But if you're not a system admin, look for that role after this course. Yeah, so basically, that is what a toner is. It's like the fine powder, or what do we call it? The ink. And normally, if the printer has a problem or the printings are, what do we call it? Blurry, right? Blurry. I was looking for a big English word. Hatuchezi na English DC. Tunatafuta zile kubwa kubwa zinawa confuse. So if you're printing something like, but you're struggling to see what has been printed on the paper, then basically the basic troubleshooting skills, because you're not just in this course to learn the theory, you are also in this course to get the basic troubleshooting skills, not just to know what's the RAM, what is an input device, but what you also need to do as a basic troubleshooting skills when you talk about printers. So you have lesser printers or printers, I think all printers using toners, right? Most of them are using toners. So what happens? Take your toner. There's a it's called what? There's some section in your printer where the toner is, or the toners are. So if that happens, you need to check. If the inks are low, then probably you need a refill. Just go and refill to the level that is required, and then things are good. People are happy, and they think like you're the Super Omondi. You're the hero that they always run to when things don't work in the office, and that is how you get promoted. Sawa tu, Mr. Sitawafunza kila kitu.
A toner is a colorant for electrostatic printing processes. That's what a toner is.
Thank you. Tyron.
Yes.
Umekuwa wapi na hiyo jina powerful bwana? Tyron. Sawa tu.
Nimeingia kutoka kazi kuchelewa.
Oh, okay. Sawa.
Yeah. No problem. I'm with you guys.
Najaribu kuaibia masiri hapa na sijui kama unashikanisha.
Pole tu. Tuko naye pole. Step by step.
Tuendelee Charlie. Mimi niko tu hapa na maswali dedi na kuja tu pole. Sasa make sure you're concentrating.
Okay. So with external equipment, we have we've talked about the printer itself, and then we have the screens. So a screen is a device used to visually display output. Like we said, an output example of an output device are screens, and the monitor itself for the desktop. So the screens are commonly used for it's mostly called visual display unit of the VDU. If you ever had anyone talk about the VDU, that is visual display unit. So it's used to visually display output, like it's just in the name itself. So we also have the projector. How many of you have used a projector in a presentation, or you've seen it, or it's used it before? Benjamin? Tyrone, yes, you used a projector. Benjamin? We also have Jeb Quiet. You've been very quiet. Joyce?
Benjamin has not used a projector.
Benjamin, okay. Jerop, have you used a projector before? Jerop? Cherop? Joyce Mwangi?
I have only seen it being used, not using.
Okay, but you've seen it in action, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's also an experience. Okay, another Jerop? Okay, I don't know if Jerop is with us. Jerop, just give a reaction.
Hiyo kita lilikunywa sijui ni nini. Sawa.
Okay.
Chai kweli.
Okay, so the VDU, we said it's used for showing the main output of the computer. That is, it's under the screen, like it's a screen. So we also have projector. So projected projection devices can be attached to your computer and are useful for displaying presentation to a group of people. Let's say you are in a big room, not every, your monitor can't be accessed by everyone. So you can project it using a projector or a projection device. So touch screen is also a VDU, like even in our smartphones, the touch screen itself is a VDU, is a visual display unit. Even those of us that have a touch screen laptops, that is a VDU. And then we have scanners. We say the scanner is an input device. So it's used to scan printed materials and convert it into digital format. So if you have a hard copy of a you have a hard copy of a file and then you want to scan it or turn it into a soft copy, you can do that using a scanner. Even on mobile phones, you have scanners. Even the Google Drive, you can scan using the Google Drive. Also, we have a cam scanner. There's so many applications that you can use. But there's that there's also that scanner, the hardware itself. The hardware itself, the scanner, it's used to scan material and convert it into digital form. So pictures can also be scanned. Another external equipment is the keyboard. So the keyboard is used to type information, for example, commands, characters into the laptop. So if you're using applications or you are using any, let's say the office productivity applications like documents, you're creating a Word document or you're creating a report, even in Excel, you're creating a sheet or anything, any information that you want to enter there, you are going to be using the keyboard. So you'll be using it to type information. So we have with the keyboard, we have the external one, but the laptop, the laptop, we have the keyboard. We have we have in the on-screen keyboard. Let's say you are working and then you have the mouse there, and maybe your keyboard in your laptop is not responding as it should. You can use the on-screen keyboard or in your laptop. We also have the mouse or the trackpad. So when using an operating system like Microsoft Windows, like we said, you use the mouse to select options on the ribbon. How many of you have used a mouse before? With mousing, you have with using a mouse, you have right clicking and left clicking. How many of you have used it before? Ama mnatumianga tu touchpad? By show of hands, Tyrone, yes, you used a mouse. So Tyrone, can you tell us the function you're right clicking and the left clicking a mouse? But just tell us one left clicking and then someone else will tell us about right clicking.
Left clicking, if you want to select, like you are right clicking umefanya, then left clicking you want to select kuingia kwa folder ama kuingia kufanya kitu kurename folder nini.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
double clicking or single or copying or pasting kama hivi.
Yeah, that's good. Another someone else to tell us about right clicking. Tyrone, that was you told us about left clicking, right?
Yes.
Yes. Someone else tell us about right clicking a mouse. What happens when you right click an application or a file? Anyone? Benjamin? Joyce?
It's for selecting.
Right clicking is for selecting.
Select.
Anyone else?
Right clicking is for opening. You open a menu and you see the options.
Yeah, for you to see the options that are there. Like Tyrone said, left clicking is when you want to open or rename a file or delete or anything. But you only get there when you already see the menu of the options that are there when you right click the file, right? Benjamin, your hand is up. Do you have anything to add? Yes?
No.
Okay. Okay, then those are mouse actions. Right clicking and left clicking are mouse actions. And also we have the trackpad or the touchpad. Also the touchpad, you have the right side and the left side. So they function the same as the mouse actions. Right clicking and left clicking, they're just the same. So the trackpad or touchpad, a device that translates the motion and position of the user's fingers to a related position on the screen. So the same way you can move the mouse when you are moving the cursor on the screen, you'll just be moving the mouse around on the mouse pad. But when you're using the touchpad, you'll just be moving your fingers on the touchpad, and then it will direct the mouse where it's going. So let's say in this presentation, let's say this is. Can you see my mouse? Yes, can you see my mouse? Yes, you can see my mouse. So I'm using a touchpad. So I'm just moving my finger around the screen here like this. So if I want to, I'll just be moving my finger across the screen, and then I go to any place that I want it to move to. Okay, so we have common input or output ports. So devices are physically connected to a device through an input or output port. So the best known of these ports is the universal serial bus. The USB, I'm sure you know USB, but the full name is our kidogo. USB in full is universal serial bus. So you can physically connect another device through a USB port. We have a USB, like a USB itself, like an external device, and also in the laptop or in the system unit, we have a USB port. We have a port, and then we have the USB itself. So even your phones have a port. But let's say even you're charging, I'm sure you have.
Hebu nione wale watu wa type C. And there's also something I'm not seeing in this note. The VGA, I know it's being out. It's a bit outdated, or it's being replaced by HDMI. But it's important because I know at your workplace there's probably that computer which has a VGA, and then kuna huyu kijana kutoka Western anaitwa nani, anakulanga sana, so kuna nguvu, anakuja naingia kwa ofisi amekanyaga waya, VGA imebreak, si ndio? Alafu sasa unaitwa hii, sasa tufanyaje? Tununulie VGA tukuje to connect so that we continue using VGA. Works the same way as HDMI. Alafu sasa unashangaa wanasema nini? Mimi najua HDMI. Hiyo VGA ni nini? Do you guys know VGA?
Yep. Yes.
Can you just pull up an image, Shirley, maybe online, of a VGA and HDMI? We need to know. And then we also have the USB hubs. We also need to see a USB hub so that you also get to know. I mean, kama uko na shida mahali and you just si ati mimi naijua lakini sijui jina, nataka hii. Hiyo ni nini kama hujui jina? Sometimes you have a problem. I remember there's a time I had a problem. I wanted to buy something, a cable, but I didn't know the name of the cable. So nimeshinda kusema I know it. So every time nafungua simu yangu natoa image na waonyesha nataka kitu. Seriously, tusiende hapo. Maybe do it online. Just open a browser. I want a photo of a USB hub, HDMI, and VGA.
See, it's a standard connector.
Hey, tunaweza sema theory, but things are better when people are seeing.
Oh, hiyo cable ya black inakonga na kitu ya blue juu.
Sasa ona.
Theory.
Umekuwa mimi.
Ndio hizo.
Ndio hizo sasa. So, can somebody just which one is the VGA here?
The first one. Hiyo. Video graphics array connector. Ndio hiyo.
Exactly. So you can use it to connect your monitor and your hiyo kitu inaitwaje, hiyo CPU, whatever. And then now HDMI. Inakaa hivi Joyce, inakaa hivi. Cheropa kwa wapi? Amemaliza uji? Akuje aone hii.
Ujavedi.
So this is a VGA. That is how it looks like. So next time, HDMI. So next time unaenda kununua HDMI, you should know. And then there are converters, HDMI to VGA, HDMI to USB, blah blah blah. So this is the HDMI. It looks like a USB, but ukiona somehow ikona some trims kwa corners hapo. And then we have USB hub. Yes. Hapa sasa kila mtu amepotea.
Kupotea zeni.
Hii hata ninajua Tyro na elewi USB hub ni nini.
Ujameni. Okay.
Fungua hii ndo napenda, hii ya mwisho. Hii hapana, wachani hii ya kitambo. Kuna hii yenye iko na ma type C hapo ndani. There's one yenye iko na ma type C. Yes, hiyo inafunguka. Msipromote Jumia jameni. Hizi vitu niko nazo. Shall we just open the second one? Yes.
The one yenye naenda Jumia, that second one.
It's okay,
But
just
you can
open it. Yes.
Yeah, ndio.
That's a USB hub. Unaona iko na vitu mingi. Iko na USB port, iko na SD card input, blah blah blah. Some of them ziko na easy vitu zingine, iko na HDMI port. So you can, if you go to buy a USB hub, you can specify unataka ikuwe na port gani, USB, normal USB, ikuwe na port ya, kuna zingine zinakuanga na port ya Ethernet pia. So that's a USB hub. All right. Tuendelee.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We're patiently waiting to.
I was talking, but I didn't realize I was muted. So sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, we have we've talked about the USB ports and
Okay guys, I beg to leave. Najua hii class inaisha 11, right? Charlie?
yes.
Yeah, I beg to leave. I think I have other matters to attend to right now. I have a long queue waiting for me. So mutawacha tu nikimbia, si ndio? I want to break a leg. Tutapatana in our next class. But enjoyed this. Hata kama Cherop amesema ataniongelesha once. Joyce nilimwambia spell namba yake aone kama cramming power yangu iko juu, akakataa. Ni sawa tu. Till next time.
Okay, so let's continue.
Okay.
Yeah, we've seen the USB ports, right?
Yes.
When you have a USB cable or you have the flash disk itself, they have that hook there that goes into the port. So USB port, like I said, it's inbuilt in the laptop or in the system unit. So so you know what a port is, right? Like I'm saying USB port, that means you can connect USB to that through that port. Yeah. It's the same like you have maybe a type C cable. It cannot get it cannot charge another device that is in type C, right?
Yes, understood.
Because it doesn't go through that port. So even in your phone you have ports. You have the micro where you can input your the audio device like a headphone or something. You can input through that, through that audio port, the port that is there. So we have different ports. So assuming that you have you know the ports that I'm talking about. So we have the HDMI. It's another input, a type of input-output port. So it's used to connect to media devices to transfer video and audio data. So you can connect it to a computer. You can connect to a computer, to a monitor. So yeah. So you've seen the HDMI device, right? Through the
Yes.
pictures that you are showing earlier. Okay. Do you have any questions? Any questions about what we've learned today about the hardware, the devices? Yes.
I don't have.
You don't have any questions?
I don't have, because Kenya nafikiria ni nini?
Mm.
Right now we are talking about hizo ma USB and stuff na nini,
Mm.
but ukiangalia technology penye imefika
Mm.
inapatia hizi manual stuff competition, because we'll start be using LED screen penye
Yes.
instead of tumie computer ku shut down shut on,
Mm.
unaekelea tu kwa glass, then hiyo glass ni LED screen, so just put a flash or whatever you can put a USB, then inawaka, then
Yes.
inajiportray. Yeah.
Yes. Do you
I've
have that
seen
in
it.
your organization?
Nope, I've seen it. No, ni kitu nili research, but I don't know if it, sijui kama imefika Kenya, but
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I only see it in movies. Yeah, I've seen it. I do love those tech stuff. I only see it in movies yenye they swipe the nini yenye iko kwa table, ameconnect inakaa hapo kwa iko suspended. Have you seen that?
not in Kenya.
Yeah, not in Kenya, but I've seen it in movies. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So yeah, the
Yeah.
technology, yes, these are the things that are already there. That's why we are talking about them. So once
True.
those are the technology imetufikia, we'll be able to upgrade and because we'll be able to interact with them. Sasa.
Very true. Very true.
Yes, yes. Any other question, any concern? I have a question for you. What is a computer? We've been talking about these computer essentials. What is a computer?
Mimi ama?
Yeah, anyone can answer, but you can start. Everyone maybe have their different versions. You can start.
Mm.
Okay, anyone else is ready? What is a computer?
It's an electronic device that processes information.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? What is a computer? So like Tyronov said, it's a computer is an electronic device. So it receives data through input, like we talked about input devices. So the computer receives data through the input devices, and then it processes it according to the program instructions and will use the which tulisema processor ni gani? Which is the main processor for computer? Yes, we say the CPU is the main processor, sindio? Nimesahau. Okay, so the computer is an electronic device that receives data through that is input, that is through input devices. It processes it, that is through the CPU, and then it produces output, that is the information. So let's say when you input data, you just input, you don't see how it processes it, but then it gives you the output. And then after giving you the output, it stores it for future use. So it stores it, and also you yourself can store it in your different folders and files. So it is a computer helps you work faster, more accurately, and efficiently.
True.
Yeah. So we have functions of computer. We have the input, we have processing, output, and storage. Those are the functions. And even through all these functions, we have the devices that are responsible for them. So like you said, in input, you are typing on a keyboard, clicking with a mouse. Processing, the CPU performs calculations and formatting on text. Output, the results are shown on a monitor or printed on paper. Then storage, you save files on a flash disk, hard drive, or cloud. Are we together up to there?
Understood. Very together.
Yes. So we have characteristics of a computer, that is speed, accuracy, reliability, storage. A computer can work as long as it is powered on, right? But you yourself as a human, you cannot work as long, like even more than 8 hours or even 10 hours, or you cannot, let's say you cannot work 24 hours a day, but a computer can do that, right? Let's say some of you that are working in shifts, your shift ends and then someone else comes and continues your work, right?
Yeah, but a computer can work 24 hours without.
Yeah, without fatigue, without that. So that is reliability, the accuracy, because it produces correct results when programmed correctly. So if you give a computer wrong instructions, it will give you wrong results. If you give it right instructions, it will give you the results that you want. And also storage capacity, it can store massive data safely. And also versatility, it can perform multiple tasks at a time. You can open several tabs and all of them will be running. So yeah, maybe you say you can be browsing at the same time you're gaming, you're designing, you're typing on one machine. So you can open several tabs.
Sure.
So just to brush off on maybe before we end, and the types of types of computers, we have supercomputers. It's the most powerful, designed for complex calculations. We have mainframe computers. They handle supercomputers are used by NASA for rocket simulation. Then the weather forecasting. They use supercomputers. Mainframe computers, they handle vast data processing for many users at once. They're used by banks, government agencies, and airlines. That they use mainframe computers. Mini computers are mid-size, used in small institutions. That is, a school administration system can use mini computers. Microcomputers, that is the PC. I'm sure you have PC, so that means you are using microcomputer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so a microcomputer, the personal computers for individuals, that is laptops, desktops, all-in-one PCs, and all that. And also we have mobile devices, that is the portable touchscreen-based computers. So we have the smartphone, tablets, smartwatches, so that. Any question up to there?
No.
No question. Okay, thank you for attending today's lesson. Let's catch up again tomorrow. And we'll be covering software and licensing and so much more. So if you maybe if you figure out something later, you can raise it in the next class. So thank you for attending the class and have a blessed day.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, you may leave.